March 8th, 2014, a massive, state-of-the-art commercial airliner takes off into the pitch-black night sky and just vanishes, literally disappears into thin air. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the absolute enigma of Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370. It's been years, and, we still don't have the whole story. How on earth does a modern Boeing 777 just vanish without leaving a clear trail behind? Well, let's unpack this mystery together. But hey, before we get completely lost in radar tracks, flight paths, and all the technical jargon, we really need to pause and look at this number, 239. That is 239 real people, passengers and crew members. This isn't just some giant mechanical puzzle. It's a heartbreaking human tragedy. Think about it. As the plane taxied and took off, these folks were just like you and me on any flight, sitting comfortably, settling into sleep, maybe browsing the in-flight movies or texting their families right before switching to airplane mode. We absolutely have to keep those 239 individuals front and center in our minds as we look at exactly how they and the massive plane they were on simply disappeared. Okay, let's dive into this first part. A perfectly normal flight outlining the journey from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. Which brings us to the very next phase, vanishing into the night, and the exact timeline of the disappearance. So let's walk through this timeline, because it starts out completely mundane. The aircraft takes off smoothly at 12:41 a.m., and for the first 40 minutes, everything is strictly by the book. I mean, totally textbook, completely normal operations. But then, out of nowhere, at 1:19 a.m., the cockpit sends its final routine message to air traffic control. And literally minutes after that totally normal check-in, boom, the aircraft's transponder just stops working. It completely cuts off its identity, its altitude, its exact location data. It's like someone flipped a switch and the plane simply dropped off air traffic control screens. And the eerie finality of that exact moment is captured perfectly in these last words. Good night, Malaysian 370. It's completely standard, highly professional pilot terminology, but moments after this totally routine sign-off, the absolute silence began. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the totally baffling sequence of events that happened right after. Dropping off civilian radar? That was just the start. You see, military radar, which operates completely independently of the transponder, actually kept tracking the aircraft's physical mass, and what it revealed is mind-blowing. Instead of continuing north to Beijing, MH370 inexplicably executes a massive, sudden U-turn and heads right back across the ocean. But why did it turn around? That is the exact question that still haunts investigators today, because there was no emergency call, no distress signal, nothing. Zero. The sheer, unbroken silence of this massive 300-ton jet as it slowly slipped away from military radar is it's chilling. That takes us into the massive search operation, sparking a global hunt for answers. As dawn breaks and the plane fails to show up in Beijing, you have this massive, unprecedented multinational search kick into gear. But the initial search was looking in the wrong spot entirely, and the answer to why came from this incredible technical discovery. While tracking was lost on civilian radar right after that U-turn, automated satellite handshakes, basically electronic pings between the plane and a satellite in orbit, revealed the aircraft hadn't crashed right away, not even close. It actually kept flying for several hours, which shifted the entire search area thousands of kilometers south, deep into the remote, unforgiving Indian Ocean. Let's shift gears and look at the theories behind the mystery to ask, what actually happened to MH370? The utter lack of physical evidence basically created a massive void, and as you might guess, a flood of theories poured right into it. Now, it's absolutely crucial to note there is zero solid proof for any of these claims. The theories range from deliberate pilot action by the highly experienced captain to a potential passenger hijacking. A lot of aviation experts point to a catastrophic technical failure, maybe a fire or rapid depressurization, that essentially turned it into a ghost flight, just flying on autopilot until it ran out of fuel. And of course, the internet being what it is, external conspiracy theories popped up too, involving everything from aliens to secret military experiments. But the absolute truth, it remains entirely unknown. Let's move to the timeline and see how this builds, because it actually wasn't until 2015, over a full year after the plane vanished, that pieces of aircraft wreckage finally began washing up, and they were found on remote islands thousands of miles from the initial search zone. Investigators eventually confirmed that this debris definitively belonged to MH370, which proved once and for all that the aircraft met its tragic end in the vast waters of the Indian Ocean. And that brings us to our final section, an unsolved aviation enigma and the missing pieces. So the crucial point here is that while finding that debris confirmed the plane's general fate, it completely failed to solve the mystery of why it happened. Despite launching the single most expensive underwater search in human history, the main wreckage was never found. The black box, the critical flight data and voice recorders that hold all the actual answers, never recovered. The main fuselage where those 239 souls were seated remains entirely lost. And without these crucial pieces of the puzzle, nobody truly knows what those people experienced in their final moments. All of this leaves us with one massive, lingering question. Is there a hidden truth that the world still does not know? Was it a pilot conspiracy? A totally catastrophic technical failure? Honestly, MH370 is a stark reminder that even today, in our hyper-connected, GPS-tracked, hyper-surveilled modern world, massive things can still just vanish, leaving the entire world forever searching for answers.